Good
Welcome.
afternoon.
Welcome. I believe we are about ready to begin.
So we should start
Please,
now.
let's start. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Rising Committee, I want to welcome you all, distinguished executives from across the globe, to today's high-level convening, which is the AAU IUFoST Roundtable in the team scaling up food processing in Africa, the role of young scientists and also the Young Scientist Competition. I would like to specially acknowledge the President of the International Union of Food Science and Technology, IUFoST, Professor Olushola Oyewole. Our session today is structured to feature a keynote address. It would also feature a roundtable presentations by high-level personalities, as well as a very important component, and this is the taste pitch competition. By way of general announcement, please note that you may submit questions via the Q&A box to the sessions. In case some questions are not unable questions during the session due to time constraint, kindly
participated in the competition that was co-organized by the Association of African Universities and by the International Union of Food Science and Technology. Again, your commitment to creativity, to vision reflect the very best of Africa's next generation of food scientists. You are the future. You are, in fact, the present transforming the landscape of food production in Africa in order to be able to not only address the needs of Africa, but to address the needs of the world. Africa stands at a defining crossroads with its dynamic demographics, with its diverse agricultural base, and increasing demand for safe and nutritious, but as well as value-added food products. The food processing sector holds incredible promise. But we face, of course, several challenges that we continue to witness. Post-harvest losses, food safety gaps, as we are going to be celebrating very soon World Food Safety Day, as well as limited infrastructure. And all this requires fresh thinking and bold leadership. And this is where Africa's young scientists come in. This is where your role matters. You are the innovators who help reimagine how we process and preserve our food. You are the researchers who will develop sustainable applications, whether be it packaging or processing, that will help reduce waste and harness local biodiversity. And you are also the entrepreneurs who will bridge the gap between the laboratory bench all the way to the marketplace, creating hopefully inclusive value chains that will help uplift communities and that will help also nourish the nations. Now, your role is not only technical, but it is also transformational. And that's where we need you as young African leaders We need you to help translate research into action through applied innovation and through the development of partnerships, particularly public-private partnerships. We need you to lead interdisciplinary teams that combine food science, technology, and entrepreneurship, and also to shape policies by engaging with regulatory bodies and advocating for evidence-based food regulatory decisions supporting food systems. And of course, more importantly, we need you to mentor others and to support building a strong pipeline for future talent across the continent and beyond. So the time has never been better across Africa. We are seeing a surge of support for the innovation of various food ecosystems, seeing the development of incubators, availability of research grants, involvement and investment in digitalization, and the development of Pan-African networks dedicated to transforming the food system. To the young scientists that have participated in this effort and that are being recognized today, I would like to make sure that you take pride in what you have achieved and also see this as a beginning. Continue to ask bold questions, continue to help building bridges across disciplines, sectors, and countries. And on behalf of the entire scientific community and food systems community, I would like to thank you and to tell you as well, to reiterate the fact that we stand with you as partners in this exciting journey. And once again, my thanks to our partners from the African Association of Universities for their support and their leadership. Congratulations for this achievement. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that opening and warm remarks, which is then setting of the tone for our engagement. We really appreciate you. Next, on the agenda, we would be inviting the Secretary General of the Association of African Universities in the person of Professor Olushola Oyewele, who would be giving the remarks and who would really be providing the remarks highlighting opportunities for young scientists in Africa's food processing sector. Over to you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kwagbeze. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm highly honored to be with you today to speak on a subject of immense strategic importance for Africa's development. This is the opportunities for young scientists in Africa's food processing sector. Africa is a continent that's richly blessed with our vast arable land, diverse agroecological zones, and a youthful population that's very high, higher than any other part of the world. Yet, despite our agricultural abundance, we continue to face paradoxes of poverty, malnutrition, and post-harvest losses. At the heart of addressing these challenges lies science, innovation, and value addition. And this is where young scientists must take the lead. Let me say it clearly up front that Africa food processing sector is still a sleeping giant that needs to be woken up. Africa loses nearly 40% of its agricultural produce due to inadequate processing, preservation, and storage. Yet, the food processing industry globally is one of the most lucrative, with demand rising for nutritious, convenient, and sustainable food commodities to producing high-value products. This transition creates rooms for three important things. Number one, it creates room for innovation in food preservation techniques suitable for local climates. Number two, it creates room for development of new products that meet global quality standards. And number three, it creates room for improved packaging, logistics, and safety protocols for African continent. I want to say, just as the president of IUFoST has just mentioned, that our young scientists are the vanguard of this transformation that we are looking forward to. We are very optimistic, and we have great interest in our young people because you are really the future of Africa. Today, I'll be speaking on 4 important areas where our young scientists can key into opportunities, not just for their own personal growth, but for the development of Africa. The first area where opportunities are available for young scientists to key in is in the area of research and innovation. Today, there's a high demand for local researchers that addresses context-specific challenges. Our young scientists can lead innovations in the following areas. 1, indigenous food technologies, tapping into Africa's rich culinary heritage. 2, green and sustainable processing, including solar drying, biodegradable packaging, and climate-smart preservation. 3, biofortification and functional foods. This will help us to tackle malnutrition and diet-related diseases in Africa. The second area of opportunities which our young scientists can tap into is in the area of entrepreneurship and startups. With the rise of agro-processing hubs and innovation incubators across Africa today, young scientists can do the following. You can launch food tech enterprises. You can partner with farmers to create value chains for underutilized crops. You can leverage digital tools such as artificial intelligence to enhance food processing efficiencies. Governments and development partners are now investing in innovation funds, startup accelerators, and technology transfer platforms tailored for young people. I believe strongly that our young scientists can key into this very important niche. The third area of opportunity that our young scientists can key into is in capacity development and education. Young scientists have opportunities to pursue advanced training in food science, biotechnology, and industrial microbiology, among others. You can participate in cross-border research collaborations through platforms such as we have in the Association of African Universities, in AUDA, NEPAD, RUFORUM, and others. You young scientists can contribute to curriculum transformation to align academic contents with emerging food processing trends. We are depending and looking forward to young scientists to help us to build the future of Africa through these areas. The third area of opportunity that's emerging for young scientists is for them to support ecosystem and partnership. The African Union's Agenda 2063, the Continental Education Strategy for Africa 2026 to 2035, and the Malabo Declaration on Allies agro-industrialization and youth empowerment as continental priorities. I'm challenging our young people. Please, institutions like the African Development Bank, the African Continental Free Trade Area, the Pan-African University, and many national ministries of agriculture and science are waiting to see what our young scientists can do in Africa. I want to challenge our governments and leaders that there's a need to invest in infrastructure, create appropriate policies, and funding mechanisms that our young scientists can tap into. Additionally, through public-private partnership, industry placement, and community-based research, I believe that our young professionals can link knowledge to impact. The last area which I believe our young scientists can key into is in the area of higher education and scientific institutions. As the Secretary General of the Association of African Universities, I call on our universities and research centers to please provide multidisciplinary platforms where engineers, microbiologists, economists, and food technologies can co-create solutions to challenges facing us. Let us strengthen the industry-academia linkages to foster employability of our young people. Let us support innovation hubs on campuses in our various food science and technology departments, and let us facilitate knowledge exchange across African countries. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that the future is not tomorrow. The future is now. The future is in you, young scientists, listening to me today. Africa needs you. We need to work with our young scientists. I can say that Africa is waiting for your young ideas. Africa is waiting for your courage. Africa is waiting for your commitment. Will you stand up to this? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Elushola Oyewole, the Secretary General of Association of African Universities, for that insightful and thought-provoking keynote address. We want to move now to the roundtable section. So the first speaker for the roundtable session is Dr. Nafisatu Diop Ndaye. She is a researcher at the Institute of Food Technology in Dakar and the inventor of the patented liquor S-Ditas pulper refiner. Her work focuses on automating food processing, supporting local industries, and empowering women through innovation, as the SDAAU have thrown the challenge to the youth. She was recently awarded a gold medal at the 58th Geneva International Exhibition of Inventions. Dr. Ndaye, you have the floor. 10 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see your slide.
Okay. Okay. Do you see my screen?
We can see you, but we've not seen your screen.
Ah, okay. Sorry. I am.
Perhaps I can share your presentation, Nafisatu, and you'll just let me know when to turn the page.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
No worries. Let me know if you can see the presentation and
Yes.
when to move on.
Yes.
Can we continue?
Yes. Sorry, please, if you can begin. Okay, I'm sorry for this problem. Good afternoon, everyone. Before beginning, I just want to apologize regarding to my English spoken. As you know, I am a French native speaking, and I will try to present you in English. My name is Nafissatou Diop. I'm a fruit and vegetable processing researcher at the Institute of Food Technology in Dakar, Senegal. I'm also an inventor and an entrepreneurship, and it's a great honor to be here today. Example of home scientists and recognized at the international level, the Dieter Pulper Likas. Please slide. Can you? Okay. In Africa, the sustainable exploitation of forest products could be contribute to food security while generating income. Africa is rich in fruit biodiversity, but most of its potential is lost due to limited local processing. In many cases, post-harvest losses exceed 40%, especially for fruits. Small-scale processor, particularly women processors in rural areas, lack appropriate technology. That is why young African scientists have a key role to play, designing simple, practical, and locally adapted solutions that unlock value and create impact. Please, slide. Next slide, please. One of such fruit is Dita, also known as Ditarium senegalense. It's a wild fruit highly appreciated here in Senegal due to its high vitamin C content, and it is a green pulp. Dita is very popular and consumed fresh or as juice, syrup, and jam. However, the lack of appropriate technology to extract the pulp is a big challenge for its valorization at larger scale. In most small, medium-scale enterprise, the pulp is extracting by hand using a pestle and a mortar. So the traditional process is slow and exhausting and often made under unhygienic conditions. Please slide. In response to this challenge, I developed a machine to shell, extract, sieve, and refine in a single step the pulp of the fruit. This machine was locally designed and patented, and it replaced the time-consuming traditional process, providing a high-quality pulp for food industry and facilitating larger-scale production. It was specially designed for small and medium-scale woman processor in rural areas. That's why I named the machine after my mother, Likaso. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. This innovation has gained international recognition. In 2020, I received the WIPO Award, and just recently, in 2025, the Dita Pulper won a gold medal at the Geneva International Exhibition. For the future, I wish to develop two new versions, a miniaturized juice-like version for restaurant and household, and an improved one with the automation of the water supply for industrial use. The goal is to unlock the economic potential of African wild fruit globally. We are seeking partnership with public and private actors to manufacture and distribute and train users at larger scale. My dream is to replicate this model across other regions as an underutilized fruit in Africa. I believe it's possible to scale this innovation for global impact. Next. Come from within Africa, and women must be at the center of it. As a young woman, scientist, and inventor, I'm proud to help build a more inclusive, local, and sustainable food system. The Dita Pulper Likas is a concrete example of how younger women scientists or inventors can drive Africa's food transformation one innovation at a time. I would like to thank IUFoST, and AAU for supporting young African women innovation. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ndiaye, for sharing with us what you have been doing and for making us to know that young scientists in Africa, especially women, can also bring something interesting and invest to solve common difficulty challenges within Africa. We appreciate what they are doing. We want to call on the second person, and that is Dr. John Lubale. He's a lecturer. Okay, thank you. So Dr. John Lubale is a lecturer at University College Birmingham in UK. He specializes in sustainable food innovation, including plant-based and smart food solutions for malnutrition. He has experience in both academia and industry, and he provides research-based insights to food companies on nutrition, processing technologies, and product development. Dr. Lubale, 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the invite. So thank you so much for honoring me. Today we'll be with this invite. Today I'll be looking at this subject from more an academic or and I'll be looking at innovative food processing and highlighting the challenges and opportunities therein for us as young.
Kindly put your presentation in slide mode. Thank
you. It is in slide view mode. Not sure if that's visible on your end.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. So my presentation is going to be outlined starting by discussing why we are fast about innovation in food science, and I will highlight an innovation in real time. I'll present a case study that I've been personally involved in, and then I'll wind up by discussing a few of the challenges and gaps therein. So when we start by discussing what the fuss about food innovation is, the keynote speaker did highlight most of these, such as the security of food in Africa, discuss improving the nutritional quality of our indigenous crops, market access, and sustainability. But out of all those, I'm going to strictly focus on those that I think push the continent towards a brighter future in terms of food safety. And the first one for me is economic development. When we invest in innovation or food processing technology inventions, we see ourselves driving the economic development in our countries, as well as the productivity of these countries. in a study that was conducted in 2023, using a computational model, it was shown that when we increase input in terms of technology, for example, investment in research, investment in research and development, we saw an 18% increase in wages in Malawi, in Burundi, sorry, and a 16% increase in wages in Malawi. And this compounded by an almost 0.2% increment in global access of our products. And inventions like the one that Dr. Dio has spoken about are very key in this type of arrangement, because what they do is then they present our traditional crops at an international stage. The next main point that I will talk about is largely the ability of our products to gain competitiveness on the international market. What is happening currently is that we have a lot of what is nationally or internationally known as underutilized and neglected crops, and most of these are from our continent. Now we're realizing that the more we innovate, the more we invest in research and development, whether we are imitating already developed technologies or not, we have an increase in not only in the productivity, meaning how much we are able to put out there, but also the competitiveness of our products on the international stage. And this is highlighted in a study that was conducted in 2022 that highlighted in government investment as well as private investments in research and development always resulted in increase in productivity. Now, from that backdrop, I would then like to move on to discuss a few of, or rather two cases of innovation. One that is key to ensuring food safety and competitiveness, and another that is from a project that I was involved in for my PhD. Now, this is a real-time invention that is currently in Uganda by a company that is working on extending the shelf life of products. Now, what Capolax does, and this is close to home because I am from Uganda, what Capolax does is it reduces the rate of spoilage of fruit by tampering with the process of spoilage, such as the release of spoilage, or rather ripening gases like ethylene. So this packet, was inserted in a bag of fruits, definitely results in reduction of the spoilage rate. And this means that ultimately our products become more accessible for a longer time. We ensure that food is available even in times of scarcity. And this is a clear example of some of the innovation techniques that are happening currently in the continent that are very important to ensuring the future of food science and food safety in our continent. I'll then move ahead and talk about work that I was involved in at the University of Pretoria. And this was part of a bigger project that was being implemented or currently is still undergoing in Kenya as well as Senegal. What we had identified in this study was that we have an iron deficiency anemia problem on the continent, and this is coupled with the growing occurrence of non-communicable diseases, your diabetes, cancer, and obesity. Now, we realize also that cereal staples are very common food all over our continent, and this meant that
you are not changing your slide.
My apologies. On my end, it seems to show like it's changing. I'll quickly stop sharing and start sharing again. Please let me know if the slides change now.
The slide is on number 6, slide number 6.
And because I'm moving it now.
It's not. Okay, good. It's moving now.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
You're not on full screen mode.
Slideshow.
Yeah, you're not on slideshow. We're not seeing the slideshow.
This is strange because on my end it shows I am sharing. Is it possible?
It's moving now, but not on slideshow.
If you are using two displays, it might show you something we don't see. So usually you'll have to turn off one of your displays.
Oh, okay. What I'll do then is I'll try and see if I can share the entire screen. Maybe that should be able to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether this is now able
That's
to work.
working. That's working. Yes.
Better.
Awesome. My apologies. So I'll pick up from where I left off, that when we looked at our continent, we realized that a lot of our communities rely on cereal staples as a source of nutrition. And now one of the reasons why we're struggling with iron deficiency anemia is that a lot of our cereal staples have anti-nutrients, your phytates and your polyphenols, and these have a very high ability to bind your iron, and this would result into iron deficiency anemia. But these anti-nutrients have a double-edged sword. On one side, they inhibit uptake of nutrients, and on the other side, they're able to prevent non-communicable diseases like your diabetes, cancer, and obesity. And so what we were trying to do is we're trying to use our African crops. In this case, we looked at whole grain sorghum. We also sourced baobab fruit pulp, and we worked also with moringa. Combining these food crops with a form of technology, extrusion cooking, to try and improve the quality of iron in these products, but also improve in terms of how much digestible the starch, or rather the glucose in these products would be. And this would be trying to address the problems of iron deficiency anemia as well as non-communicable diseases. And so from our work, we then found that when we combined extrusion cooking with baobab fruit pulp, we saw a reduction in the amount of anti-nutrients that are present in our whole grain sorghum, but an increase in the iron bioavailability, or how much iron can be taken out of these products. Meaning that when we combine extrusion with baobab and whole grain sorghum, we then end up with products that have the ability to help combat iron deficiency anemia, and two, are also able to provide the basic nutrition that we'd expect from products. A concept we tested in this research was food fortification, where we added iron-rich products like moringa. Again, we're trying to use easily sourceable products in our communities to try and answer problems that are within our communities. And so we used moringa as a source of iron. And when we used moringa, we saw that when we added moringa into our products, one, we increased the iron content, and a combination of moringa and baobab resulted into, one, an improved bioavailability of the iron, but also the iron content itself, meaning that we could easily be able to address iron deficiency anemia using this technique. And then when we extruded the products with moringa, a key important thing for us to note was that we reduced the glycemic response, meaning the amount of starch, or rather the glucose release by the product, was far lower than what you would expect in a normal product. And so where does this fit into the discussion that we are having today? This project was part of a bigger project being funded by USAID, currently running in Kenya under the Food Processing Innovation Lab, where a group of women in Eldoret come together and are able to access this equipment, not only to make products, but also to be able to do small-scale sale of products. I had the privilege of going to Kenya and meeting with this community. And for me, this was a very huge indication of where research that is coming out of research spaces can actually answer questions on the ground. Now, I will then wrap up by discussing a few of what I consider challenges and gaps, and what I would think are the solutions for this. I believe there's a huge disparity between the research that we do in our research institutions and what is actually on ground. And I believe that's where the problem starts. That a lot of the research that we do is research that is fundamental, or is research that is built to answer questions from an academic space, but not speaking to our problems that are in our communities. And therefore, I believe that the direction of research not needs to move from being research just for the sake of research into research for the sake of answering the problems in our communities. The second challenge I believe exists is the absence of the communities that we are trying to provide solutions for, in most cases, and the industry, in the innovation, or rather in the research spaces. I believe the companies that produce products for Africa, or the communities that are facing these problems, have a far greater understanding of the solutions that they would need than we do as researchers. And so my solution to that gap would be that all research should start fundamentally with the communities that we are trying to go to answer, whose questions we're trying to answer, and the industries in which we're trying to insert our solutions. And then thirdly, I believe there's a very huge problem of brain drain, where a lot of the researchers, myself included, tend to leave the continent and move to the global north. And now I believe this is a problem that needs to be tackled from a point of the government as well as the more senior researchers on the ground. Government has failed to invest in our research capacities, in our research capability as a continent, and this has seen a lot of researchers leave our continent and come find solutions in spaces without answering the problems back home. And lastly, I believe there's an absence of collaborations between the academics and professionals on our continent with academics and professionals in diaspora. And this is my way I wind up by saying that when we leave the continent, there should be an intentional effort to try and still be part of the solutions on our continent. And I believe that platforms like this are a good place to start. With that, I'd like to thank you all for your time and wind up. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. John Lubali, for sharing with us what you have been doing and your team on how to reduce spoilage of fruit using a local method, and also how to use our local crop to improve the nutritional status of Africans through the method of fortification. We appreciate that. The next person in the roundtable discussion session is Princess Anita Asabiri. She leads innovation at Farmerline, scaling the MagData platform and expanding fintech agri-tech solutions across Africa. She champions financial inclusion for smallholder farmers and has secured key partnerships to extend impact in underserved regions. Beyond Farmerland, she advocates for inclusive development, technology innovation, and sustainable agriculture at a global level. Princess Anita, you have the floor. Thank you. 10 minutes.
All right, thank you so much. I'll turn on my camera briefly so you can see my face. Congratulations to all the scientists on the call. Allow me to share my screen and show you some interesting innovation within the food security sector. You may take inspiration from there as you dive into the ecosystem. Kindly let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Am I visible? Sounds good.
It's good. Thank you.
Right. So Farmerline, I'll take you through a very brief discussion of who we are as Farmerline and what we are doing. So basically, we're more focused on driving food security through innovation and inclusive technology. So who are we as Farmerline? Farmerline is an agricultural technology company that started operation over 12 years ago. That's 2013. We started operations in Ghana, and we focus on how we can communicate to farmers in native languages. Why was that a priority? Because every information that is available to all of us today, we can go on the internet, research it, read, write, and understand. But the smallholder farmer that grows our food lacked that innovation. And that's how come Farmerline innovation called Mesh Data was born 12 plus years ago. These are some of the key challenges. There are many challenges that agriculture, especially smallholder farmers, go through. But for us as Farmerline, we just had to focus on what we wanted to solve. I'm sure, as you may all be aware, we have smallholder farmers, 70% of them that are feeding us, but they are the ones that are cut off the mainstream support that they need. The priority one is they don't have access to resources to afford affordable and quality agro inputs that they want to grow our food well and healthy with. Smallholder farmers are classified as risky when it comes to financing for majority of the financial institution. So they're very much underserved when it comes to access to financial services. About 10 to 20% of decline of agricultural outputs, basically because they don't have access to markets. So majority of the food also goes to waste. And these are some of the key challenges that Farmerline have been in the business and have been resolving for the past 12 years. We built a technology platform that we called Mesh Data. Mesh Data is practically a software as a service platform that allows you to know who your last mile client is. In the agriculture context, the first mile client or person that you want to engage with is the farmer. The farmer will help you know where your food is grown. The farmer will help you know if your food is healthy. So you really need to know your farmer and where your food is coming from. And that is how Farmerline built this Mesh Data platform. For the past 12 years, we've currently reached 2.3 million farmers. And then we are working with 3,000 partners across 50 countries. How 50 countries? We started in Ghana, but Mesh Data is a software as a service. So we do have partners within the food value chain that use Mesh Data for several other activities. When it comes to knowing where their farmers are based, whether in Africa or whichever part of the world, they use Mesh Data to do that. They use Mesh Data to also trace the source of commodities. Think about it like today you go to a retail shop and then you buy chocolate. Do you know where the chocolate is coming from? Have you seen a cocoa pod before? These are some of the initiatives that Mesh Data allows you to do that. And we do have some listed partners here that have been using Mesh Data for more than 8 years. We've been working with Hershey, ETG Beyond Beans, Mida, Agra, and a few other partners. Now, Mesh Data is a huge ecosystem platform, but within Mesh Data, we have about 5 key applications, and each of them are connected and are also standalone innovation that you can use. I'll take them one after the other to explain to you what they are. We have Terra MD. Terra means land, so it tells you everything that is happening with your food, with your land. When it comes to deforestation, where you're sourcing, for a typical example, is where you're sourcing your cocoa from. Is it from a non-deforested land? Is it high deforestation area? All these will make you ensure that you are being regulatory compliant depending on the country that you are exporting to. Waste and water management. What is happening with water all around the world? If you take a typical example of some African countries of context, there are a lot of illegal mining that are happening that are not just affecting our farms, it's also affecting our water bodies. Terra MD gives you a satellite imagery for you to see all that. Then we go to DALI AI. It's actually a helpline component that we've been using for more than 10 years now. We just added the AI components to it. I mentioned earlier that all the information that are available to us, even if you don't know anything about agriculture, and you want to have a brief read of it, you can just go on the internet, research it, and then you may be able to understand to even have a backyard farming. What about the farmers that are growing the masses to feed the world? They don't have access to the knowledge. And that's how come we developed DALI AI, the AI agronomist that is training farmers in their native languages when it comes to crop disease detection, when it comes to regenerative agriculture practices, weather advisory services, when and when not to grow their food. That is what DALI AI allows you to do as a smallholder farmer. And I mentioned we've reached about 2.3 million farmers. And we also have partners that are also using Mesh Data to know who their farmers are. It all starts with data collection. So we have the Collect MD platform that allows you to profile your farmer, know your customer. In this case, your customer is the farmer. Know the kind of farm that your farmer is farming on. It allows you to map the various polygons of your farm and then give you access to a monitoring and reporting dashboard for key stakeholders to see activities that are happening within or for that particular farmer. Last but not the least is open finance. Earlier in the problem statement, I mentioned that farmers have been cut off mainstream financial services. As Farmerline, what we do is we don't just offer farmers access to information and then leave it like that. They need more than that. They need financing. So we did build within Mesh Data a credit scoring model that based on the information that we give them, the knowledge that they acquire, it helps them build their credit score, and then we finance these farmers and agribusinesses out of the score that they get. We've been doing this for the past 10 plus years or 12 plus years, and now we have a very solid, robust credit scoring platform that most financial institutions are now coming on board to leverage on to finance and deploy capital for these smallholder farmers and agribusiness. Lastly is Grow MD. What that does is it's helping specific small agribusinesses within the local areas that want to digitize their shops, move from using the paper to a paperless way of transacting when it comes to sourcing, when it comes to connecting their various shops. They can do that with Grow MD. So these are some of the key applications that sits within Mesh Data. When you think about Farmerline, and if you're asked today who Farmerline is, to make it easier for you to explain it, Farmerline teaches smallholder farmers and agribusinesses. Farmerline finances, and then we measure. What do we teach? We do have digital training with DALI AI, training in native languages on specific topics: financial literacy, regenerative agriculture, weather advisory services, good agronomic practices, and a few other customizable educational training that we know our farmers need. Now, aside technology, we know we cannot phase out the direct in-person interaction. So what we do is we do have offline workshops directly with the farmers. So we have field agents that are across all our operating areas. We started operations in Ghana, but now we've scaled beyond. We have operations in 9 African countries: Ghana, Togo, Benin, Burkina Faso, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. That's where we have our physical team present and doing on-ground activities. And then we come to finance. Out of all the knowledge that have been impacted of the farmer, and then based on the adoption rate, we do run that through our credit scoring. As a business, I mentioned earlier that we put our own skin in the game, build our own credit scoring model, and then had to deploy capital because the farmers and the agribusinesses 12 years ago were counted as very risky for any financial institution to come into the ecosystem. So what Farmerline did was we deployed capital. And so far, we've done 40 million direct financing in terms of crops, inputs, and then assets to these farmers and agribusinesses. Now we do have partnership with financial institutions that are deploying capital. You measure the impact of the financing that has been given to them when it comes to carbon estimation, carbon sequestration, and then carbon emission. Mesh Data allows you to do that. So this is a simple way to measure the impact. For 12 plus years, these are some of the statistics that we have that have been in direct now 9 countries, because we just scaled to Tanzania. We have 1 million unique listeners on DALI AI. We have 2.3 million farmers that have been digitized and have been supported. 4.5 million acres of farms that have been mapped. What that means is you can just go on Mesh Data, the GPS coordinate, and then you can view what is happening in the farm. And also $40 million worth of finance that have been financed so far. When it comes to traceability, which is very, very important, knowing where your food is coming from, we've traced about 17,000 metric tons of commodities and then sold. That's market access. So we give them access to the knowledge, access to the finances and the resources that they need, and then we connect them to market. Connecting them to market based on the kind of commodity. So we don't have a cap. Based on the kind of commodity that the farmers are in our ecosystem are trading in, we create the market locally and then internationally, and then we sell for these farmers. And the number of inputs that we have dispersed so far, and with the new EU regulation, what that means is European deforestation regulation, where certain commodities that are being exported into the EU market are not deforested land. So we had to run impact analysis on the number of farm plots that we have here, which includes some for our partners, to check whether it's safe to export
Two more minutes.
palm and then coffee these farmers. So I think that this is just the end of my presentation, but I did put DALL-E AI here for you to give it a try. So you can scan and then chat on your phone and interact with DALL-E AI. It currently operates in 27 languages. So any of the languages, 20 of those languages are African languages and the 7 are Western languages. So you can scan and interact with it on your phone. On the other side, you can also scan this one, and then it would lead you to a URL or a link that you can click and put in your number to interact with DALL-E AI. I hope this presentation was helpful and it gives you ideas as scientists on how to come into the ecosystem to support us to solve food security problems. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anita, for sharing with us what your group is doing at Farmerline to assist our farmers within the continent. Participants, we have the opportunities and comments at the Q&A platform. So under the screen, you will see the Q&A button. So just click on it and drop your questions. Thank you. So the next presenter now is Dr. James Owusu-Kwarteng. He is an associate professor of food science and technology at the University of Energy and Natural on traditional food processing, fermentation, and food safety with strong engagement in community-based innovation. He has supported small-scale food processors in Ghana and Burkina Faso, and recently served as a Fulbright scholar in the United States of America. Dr. Owusu-Kwarteng, you have the floor. Please, you have 10 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Obadina. And I hope you can hear me well. So I will share brief insights on the scaling up of food processing in Africa, as the discussion has been going on already. What I will do briefly is to give a background, which, of course, previous speakers have intimated the need for food scientists to, come in with innovations. One thing that we are all aware is the increasing number of population, and particularly, the rapid growth in urbanization and rising incomes. And this has brought the need or the increased demand for processed foods by these urbanized societies and the increasing population. And so that is where food scientists, and particularly processing and other areas of food science, will have to fill in the gap between the demand for, high quality foods processed, and then what is produced as a farm gate. And so the food has to go through a lot of this. And to do this, we need to be doing a lot of value addition through innovations. And it is when we do that that we will be able to scale up, because we all know that African traditional foods mostly are processed at small scale level, predominantly, or at household levels, and mostly are also traditional arts. And so we need to come in with innovations to be able to meet the increased demand for, high quality processed foods by the increasing population. And here I give a critical example of what actually we should be doing. So you see the food chain from agricultural input and farm production, as the Farmerline group have been helping. But when the crops come up, they easily will get, deteriorated post-harvest losses, sometimes as high as 40–50% for many crops. And so that is when food processing comes in, and what comes from the farm, of course, affects what the food processor will do. And what the food processor does here will have implications for distribution, retailing, and to the final consumer. And so that is where the food scientists, and particularly young food scientists, will have critical roles to play. And so here I give a small example of work that was carried out some time back in Ghana, where we look at, so if you see the production of kinky, and I must say that kinky is a fermented corn dough, and produced in Ghana, but also in other parts of West Africa, I know in Benin and some parts in Nigeria, possibly. So it's a very popular food, but mostly, and like many other traditional foods, the processes are dominated by women on small scales. The production processes are labor intensive and time consuming. Very often they lack quality assurance and management systems. And if they are fermented foods, and of course, most of our foods are fermented, these fermented foods are often spontaneously done. And so we don't have defined starter cultures that we use to ensure quality and safety of these products. And of course, poor packaging has always been done. And so what we did was that in order to add value, we will have to do a lot of things as scientists. So for this kinky, most people that want to consume it, we bottled it in this product. And so anybody at all in the urban community who want to consume, kinky like this can easily buy it or pick it from the shelves, because you can't have products going onto the shelves in this form. And so if we need to scale up and access markets, we will be able to do a lot of innovative work in it. And once we did this, we are sure that the prices go up, so there is higher income. We actually fortified it with lysine, because then the raw material, which is maize, is limiting in lysine. And so there was improved nutrition. There is also health and safety assured. And once we're able to scale up and use a lot more of the produce, we reduce post-harvest losses, and we're able to access a lot of market, both locally and across the continent. The good thing that I want to point out is that most of our foods across Africa are almost the same. Very often they have different names in different countries, but they are almost the same. And that's very good for us, so that once we're able to innovate and scale up, there is a large market for the product across the country. This is also a condiment that had to go through a similar process, and some people have done that and able to do it. So that's what innovations can do. Right. Again, another work that was done in the Food Research Institute in Accra past. So you see the traditional process of peeling is labor intensive. We need to look at how we can improve that. Look at the grating of cassava in the production of gari, which is also consumed across Africa, as far as in East Africa, in Tanzania, and some parts in Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, we all do that. So if we're able to innovate, because you can scale up in dewatering like this, where you put the grated cassava in sacks and stuff them, which is often the practice in the traditional homes. As scientists, we need to come in and develop hygienic, presses, equipment that will help do the pressing and fermentation during the fermentation period. In fact, this also will include the selection and use of starter cultures for the fermentation. That will be good. Roasting in this form was difficult, and so improved roasting systems were developed. And of course, packaging could also be improved. So this is a clear example of innovation that could be introduced directly into our traditional food systems in order for us to scale up. To be able to do all this research, innovation is important. Look at the traditional fermentation of beer in Africa, Pito in Ghana, Dolo in Burkina Faso, similar products in Nigeria, and many other places. Up till now, we have not been able to scale up the production of traditional, beers, sorghum beer in Africa. A pilot plant was developed for hygienic fermentation of this side, and there is the need to transfer this technology to industry for improved production of, sorghum beer. Alongside, there needs to be a lot of research that will go on the selection of yeast cultures that will enable the fermentation go on efficiently, and many other things, including food process engineering, microbiology, biotechnology, and so on and so forth. So there is a strong opportunity for young scientists to look closely at the traditional processes that we have, and then be able to build the innovations through these systems. And it is the way that we can, scale up most of these food products. Of course, other requirements, apart from strong research and innovations, we also need educated and technical staff, which is on the low side in Africa. And so we need that, because food production, processing, safety issues are very technical, and we need that, right? Access to maintenance of food processing equipment is also sometimes a problem because of cost if we need to scale up. And what we are advocating is that if governments can waive taxes on vehicles, why can't we waive taxes for young leaders and entrepreneurs who want to import and maintain food processing equipment? It will be a contribution to...
You have 2 more minutes? 2 more minutes. Thank you.
Food security. Thank you very much. Other issues arise, the business environment, market access, and so on and so forth. And so I share some few ideas that will enable us, innovate as young scientists. Indigenous knowledge and practices engage the community. They are labor intensive. We have problems with nutrition, so you have to target nutrition improvement and innovations in health systems, and also target sustainable and environmentally friendly production and processing systems. And if we do that, we'll be able to innovate. So in conclusion, I say that scaling up of food processing that begins at the grassroots level with the community is very critical for inclusive economic growth. In that case, the economic growth is spread across, and it is also important for food and nutrition security in Africa. We can't achieve this unless we embark on strong research and innovation, and that is where our young scientists come in. They need to be supported to do that. Don't let us forget that Africa has a very long-standing and strong tradition of smallholder food processing and production systems, and we should explore these systems and traditions as young scientists to be able to transform the African food processing sector. I say that behind every challenge, there is an opportunity waiting to be discovered, and that is what we should be looking at. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Owusu-Kwarteng, for your rich and insightful presentations on the innovations done by the team so far. We sincerely appreciate you for sharing this with us. At this point, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we will be moving on straight to the Young Scientist Pitch competition, which is focused on innovations and research with clear impact and potential for food processing scale-up in Africa. I must say it has been a highly competitive process. The review committee received great interest across the continent, though the timeline for the submission was quite short. The team received close to 100 submissions even after the deadline was passed. And today we are happy to hear from the top 4 submissions that the committee had selected from the submissions that they received. A jury of distinguished experts will be making the final decision for first prize, second prize, and third prize positions. All presenters do have 5 minutes. And on that note, I would like to invite our first presenter, following which maybe we can have just one person, a question or so from just one person, and then we move on. Our first presenter is Maximus Anchan, who is a food scientist and the director of research for Alt Protein Project at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. He's currently researching plant-based proteins at the Technical University of Munich, and his work focuses on sustainable innovations to transform Africa's food systems. Over to you. Your 5 minutes starts now.
Please put your, thank you. I see.
Yeah, thank you very much. Our innovation was centered on producing a functional ready-to-eat breakfast cereal for peptic ulcer management and gut health optimization. And why was there need for this innovation? This innovation was envisaged due to I'm from a family where my parents, my elder sister, and my grandmother, they are suffering from peptic ulcer disease. So I was looking for an opportunity to provide a solution to them through developing a food product that will alleviate their Peptic ulcer disease. And when I looked at the African landscape, I also discovered that more than 40% of the population of Africa, they are also suffering from this disease. So another reason why this innovation was important was because Helicobacter pylori, which is the highest prevalent cause of Peptic ulcer disease, has acquired antibiotic resistance to most antibiotics. And because of this, there is limited access to safe and long-term ulcer therapies. So the third reason was due to the lack of affordable, gut-friendly functional food, while the fourth was the limitation in delivering probiotics in dry food matrices. So the highlighted challenges led to the birth of Tameka, a ready-to-eat functional breakfast cereal specifically formulated to manage peptic ulcer disease. And this formulation was produced from sorghum, soybeans, banana, mango fruit slurry, and it was fortified with Lactobacillus plantarum. And in as much as this was done, we actually wanted to choose a process that will preserve the probiotics in a formulation and also preserve the heat labile nutrients in a food. And so we process this food at 50 degrees C for 4 hours, and then we optimize it using a mixture centroid augmented design. And the proven science and statistics we got was from the formulation was probiotic content was significantly high, more than 10 raised to power 8 colony forming units per mil. And we tested this Tameka in rat models induced with aspirin, and over a 14-day period, we found out that the healing effect was comparable to that of omeprazole. And there was also a significant reduction in pro-inflammatory cytokines. These cytokines, they are actually biomarkers, often elevated when there is peptic ulcer disease in the body. And histopathological studies also revealed the balancing of peptic ulcer disease in the Tameka treated group comparable to the damage that was caused in the negative control. You can see from the diagram on the bottom left, the negative control group still having a high ulcer index compared to group D, which was treated with a functional food.
1 minute left, please.
So what is now the impact potential? The impact potential is the innovation utilizes low cost, uses modular technology. And because the raw materials are sourced from the local communities, it gives opportunities for youth, for women, and it also helps solve the issue of non-dairy, culturally aligned, shelf-stable probiotics, and enhances food security and health while addressing some sustainable development goals. And all this happens within 1 mile from farmer right up to the consumer level. So what is now the next step? We've already applied for patent to mass produce Tameka through the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment of Nigeria, and they have accepted our patent. And at this moment, we've seen that Tameka is just more than a food.
Thank you
it's a
so much.
Time
up. Thank you so much. We are sticking straight to the 5 minutes allocation for each presenter. At this point, we have to take only one question from the room. If there's any pending question anyone would want to ask, now is the time. Thank you very much, Maximus. Okay, I don't see any hand up currently.
We have Prakash. Prakash, you have the floor.
Hello.
1 minute.
Yeah, I think it's important to clarify, can we patent traditional foods in general? That's an important question because the IPR issue. So this is a traditional food, and how does one patent it? It's very complicated. So I would like you to answer that.
Tommy, I did not get your question very well.
No, the product is a traditional food, right?
Yes, it's a traditional.
Right. So traditional,
traditional
foods
food.
are, according to WIPO, cannot be patented because it has come from thousands of years. So therefore, it's very important to clarify that.
The product is not traditional food per se, but we use traditional raw materials. We leverage on the traditional raw materials to produce food which can be produced at a traditional level, not like it was a traditional food.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Would like to, at this point, invite the next speaker. Can we please mute if we are not speaking? Thank you very much. At this point, we would like to invite our next speaker in the person of Masengwe Geoffrey James, who is a mechanical engineering student from Tanzania. He's passionate about practical innovation. He's currently developing a solar-powered cassava dryer to improve food safety and reduce post-harvest losses in rural communities. Over to you, James. You have 5 minutes and it starts now.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Masengwe Geoffrey. I'm a mechanical engineering student, and I am here today to present about the solar cassava cut. Next, please. Next. So as we know that cassava is a staple food for over 500 million people, but it's highly perishable as it starts to spoil within just 48 hours after harvest. Farmers often lose 30 to 40% of their yields. This leads to food insecurity, income loss, and increase the risk of aflatoxins, which is carcinogen that is deadly for health because it can lead to cancer. So the lack of affordable drying infrastructure, especially at the village level, means farmers are stuck with unsafe and traditional drying method like the use of a large stationary drying chamber that obviously it cannot be shared within the community. Next, please. Our answer to this challenge is the solar cassava cut, which is a mobile solar-powered dryer designed for on-farm use, whereby it harnesses solar thermal energy to reduce drying time from 3 days to just 6 to 8 hours, helping farmers to stop spoilage immediately after the harvest. This cut, next please. This cut is built from durable material, local materials, which is solar powered, and it has backup batteries, easy to transport from one farm to another as it will be wheel powered. Also, it is capable of drying 200 of cassava in a single cycle. And all this is performed without the use of firewood or bleed electricity, making it sustainable and clean for the environment. Next, please. So how does this work? The process is simple and full localized, whereby farmer peel slices of cassava direct on site. And then the sliced cassava is taken to the cut solar drying chamber, whereby the solar heat and enhanced by fans and controlled ventilation dries the cassava efficiently and evenly. After drying, the farmers can store or sell high quality cassava chips safely. So what's the key innovation in this idea? First, we get a smart control system of temperature and humidity that leads to effective drying of the cassava slices. Also, the machine is mobile, meaning that is powered by which it can be moved from one farm to another. But also, the design works in low light and night condition, whereby it has backup batteries, meaning that even if the sun or there is low light, the machine can work as it has backup batteries. But also, this is not just a dryer, it's a feed ready for food safety on wheels. Next, please. So as you see in the picture, that is a prepared model of which right now I'm working on. It's a mobile cassava cut powered by solar. Next, please. So the cassava market, for example, the cassava market in Tanzania is worth around $500 million annually, with over 2 million smallholder farmers. That is our target base, meaning that we plan to reach them through direct sales to farmer cooperatives, flexible financing such as leasing or microloans, but also maintenance support. without leaving even carbon credit revenue by avoiding firewoods. Compared to larger stationary drying units, our cut is cheaper, more accessible, mobile, and tailored for a 1 mile innovation zone. Next, please. Next. And next. So from there, we co-partnership and support to make sure that we make these machines enrich millions of Africans that lack the drying mechanism about cassava and lose more of their post-harvest of cassava. So this is not just a machine, it's a tool for food security, climate resilience, and rural improvement. By investing in this innovation, you are directly helping reduce hunger, support small farmers, and improve food safety across Africa. So the final message is, let's bring solar technology into the art of farmlands where it needs the most. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you very much, Geoffrey, for staying within the time. I would like to ask whether there is any question from the room. We have opportunity to take one question. Okay, please unmute, Prof. Akinwande.
Thank you very much. Well done, Geoffrey. That's a very good one. But the concern is just the cost of the battery. While the solar is free, what about the battery? How easy or how cheap or expensive can the common farmers be able to afford it?
Yeah, of course, the cost of the battery is just ranging from around $10, whereby the funds that work there is the DC funds, of which they utilize a very minimal storage of electricity, meaning that a small battery, just a single one, can power up to 6 hours without charging it. So during the daytime, the solar will be working, but at night time, the backup batteries, of which they're just small one, they can power the fans up to 6 hours.
Okay, thank you very much for the question and for the response. We'll move on to our third presenter. So if the third presenter can start sharing their slides. Our third presenter is Neba Quintin Chan, who is a food science graduate student from Cameroon, focused on addressing public health issues through food processing. Her work includes developing functional beverages and therapeutic foods from local ingredients. Over to you, Neba. Your 5 minutes starts now.
Thank you, Ma, for the opportunity. Thank you, IUFoST team, for the great opportunity. I'll be presenting an innovation on production and evaluation of a nutraceutical snack bar with iron-fortified sweetener. This presentation plan will run from context and objective to expected results. Iron deficiency anemia is a major public health challenge. It is a silent crisis affecting millions of people worldwide. 66.2% of the world population has been reported anemic. According to Cameroon report, 60% of children under 5 years are anemic, 41.7% of adolescent girls have been reported anemic. Existing interventions faces a lot of hurdles. Conventional supplements, like iron conventional supplements, are ineffective due to compliance issues and side effects. More so, current snack foods are often high in refined sugar and low in essential nutrients. Poor dietary practices and limited access to diverse nutritious food is equally a remote cause to this iron deficiency. So, producing a novel food which is nutritious, stable, and accessible, utilizing a natural iron-rich sweetener, which is minimally processed and it retains minerals like iron and copper, will help remedy this iron deficiency outcome in Africa and the world. So the research I'll be working on the following objective. The general objective of this research will be to develop and evaluate and optimize snack bar formulation using evaporated sugarcane juice, focusing on enhancing nutritional content, especially the iron and functional properties, and assessing its sensory acceptability and biological effects. The specific objective will be to evaluate the shelf life of this optimized snack bar under different storage conditions to ensure food safety and quality, and to analyze the potential impact of this snack bar on iron deficiency prevalence and food processing industry in Africa. This research will be carried out in National Polytechnic University Institute Bamenda Food Technology Lab, and ethical clearance form will equally be obtained from the Ethical Committee of the University of Bamenda. All raw ingredients that will be used to produce this snack bar will be gotten from Bamenda main market, which include bambara granules, millet, soya beans, sesame seeds, red stem sugarcane, and pumpkin seeds. Mixture design will be used to formulate the different samples that will be used to come out with the optimized snack bar, which will optimize the iron content of the food. This formulation will be formulated on 3 different bases. The first base will contain just soya beans, and the second base will contain just the bambara granule, and the third base will contain both the soya beans and the bambara granule and the other ingredients. This formulation was equally adopted by a researcher, Hans et al. In 2023 in the production of enhanced earthberry bar, snack bar. So the core evaluation that will be done on this snack bar will be the nutritional analysis, functional and phytochemical properties, iron bioavailability, sensory evaluation. The shelf life studies will equally be carried out, and impact assessment will be done through literature review and survey. All data that will be gotten from this research will be analyzed using one way ANOVA coupled with Turkey test. All obtained data will be reported as mean to standard.
1 more minute, please.
So for preliminary results, the researcher have processed the raw ingredients into semi-finished product, which from slide 14 to 15 will have the images of the finished product, and slide 16 to 18 you have the result of the responses that will be used to determine the optimized snack bar. At the end of this research, the researcher is expected to develop a nutritious and palatable iron-fortified snack bar suitable for addressing iron deficiency in vulnerable populations in Africa, and also to contribute to the growth of the food processing industry in Africa by promoting the use of local resources and creating new market opportunities. The president of jury, members of jury, thanks for your keen attention. I rest my presentation here and I stand corrected. I will gracefully receive constructive criticism from you and fair comment. Thanks for your keen attention.
Time is up. Thank you very much. At this point, I would open the floor for a single question from the room. Okay, Prof, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. My question to you is that, Neba, why have you decided to use those various raw materials? You didn't give us a justification for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. For the sweetener, which is the evaporated sugarcane juice, from literature review, it shows that just the juice itself, you not have the iron that we actually need for the product. So concentrating the juice will increase the iron content of the sweetener. Then for the other products like bambara granite, bambara granite is a source of protein, and soya beans is equally a source of protein. So using these two protein sources, this food can also be used to solve protein energy malnutrition. And millet also is a source of carbohydrate in this food sample. And sesame seed is coming in as a source of lipid with pumpkin seeds. So all these raw ingredients are locally available and accessible by everyone around Bamenda.
Thank you. Prof. Obadina, do you have a quick reaction or we can proceed?
No, that's okay. Thank you. Let's move on.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll move on to invite finalist number 4. And this is Kelly Ndombo Yankum, who is a food science researcher. Please, can we mute? Kelly is a food science researcher from Cameroon and is currently pursuing her PhD in Nigeria. Her work spans food fortification, yogurt, and beverage innovation, and she has authored multiple peer-reviewed publications. On that note, we invite you to take the floor, Kelly. Your 5 minutes starts now. Kelly, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we can see your slides if you plan to share one.
Okay.
Having difficulties. You've already lost 33 seconds, so please take note.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly, a PhD student in food processing technology in SEFTA BHP in Recording, Nigeria, and I'll be presenting on Zobo yogurt.
There's an echo. I don't know whether you are connected on 2 devices, but yeah, please proceed since we are looking at the time too.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll be presenting on Zobo yogurt, a novel. Can you? It's muted.
Please proceed. You've lost 1 minute 28 seconds, but please proceed.
Okay. This is the outline of the presentation. Next slide, please. Okay. Zobo yogurt presents a breakthrough nutritionally enhanced fermented beverage that combines traditional yogurt from cow milk with extract from hibiscus calyx. And this carefully formulated blend leverages locally available resources to create an affordable, cultural appropriate functional food with enhanced nutritional profile, improved bioactive property, and extended shelf life. The formulation delivers a unique product that addresses multiple nutritional needs while creating value-added opportunity for local agricultural products. Next slide, please. As strategic impact, this product is going to help enhance nutritional enhancement. That is, it enriches traditional yogurt with vitamin C, iron, and antioxidant. Iron deficiency is a major problem in sub-Saharan African countries. And then antioxidants are elements that are required in the body to fight against free radicals. And free radicals are compounds that are continuously formed in the body, and if allowed to accumulate can cause diverse effects such as heart diseases, diabetes, and so on. So this drink is going to help to address these problems. For economy, it's going to also help to improve economic value addition. It's going to help in the yogurt is going to help in product efficiency, shelf life extension. Seeing Zobo calyx contains anti-nutritional properties that are going to serve as natural preservative, and is also going to bring about market diversification. That is bringing us a convenient drink that can serve at different occasions in our time. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the flowchart of how the Zobo yogurt is going to be made, where we produce the yogurt from cow milk and then produce Zobo extract from the calyx and then combine the two to have a Zobo yogurt. Next slide, please. A scalable implementation, the technology employs a three-tail approach tailored to African context. That is, we are going to start at our local level, that is the village level. Since we are targeting our women who are unemployed, we move to the small enterprise and industrial scale up. Next slide, please. Economic value is going to be very affordable. It's going to create employment, especially for women, and it's also going to help in gender empowerment for women and young girls. It's going to help also improve our health status. Next slide, please. And for the product standard, we are going to start with product standardization, will take up to 6 months. Then we have pilot development, market expansion, which will take us up to 12 months to establish that. Next slide. So for the advantages, is going to we are going to have a local resilience product, which is going to going to be climate.
Time up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presentation. I'd like to open the floor for one question. Okay. Obadine's hand is up, but he spoke earlier, so I'm checking if maybe we should give the opportunity to someone else. But if no one raises their hand, then Prof, I would invite you back.
July, or is there any other hand?
Okay, I think there's no other hand from what I'm seeing. Yes, please proceed. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. My question to you is that, Kelly, the product that you intend producing, yogurt combined with the hibiscus Sabra juice, you didn't talk anything about how you want to preserve the products. How long? You just told us that the juice is going to extend the shelf life. Is it a shelf-stable product? You didn't talk anything about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Like I mentioned, the hibiscus leaves contains anti-nutritional, antimicrobial properties that is going to fight against microbial growth and then improve shelf life. And also in the processing, we are going to do in-bottle sterilization. That is, after bottling, we sterilize it, then so that it can be able to stay for up to 3 months in refrigerated conditions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point, the jury would be making their final evaluation and final decision in terms of who takes first prize, second prize, and then the third prize. Whilst that is being done, we would be watching a special video if the technical team can start bringing it up. And this is the winning student video from an earlier IUFoST Rose Prize Video Awards, which was presented at the 22nd World Congress in September 2024. It's titled Mission Possible, Restoring Peatland and Preserving Local Wisdom with Food Technology. Thank you very much.
In West Kalimantan, Indonesia, Dayak Banyadut tribe believes that consuming the snakehead fish extract can speed up the healing from postpartum wounds. This knowledge, commonly known as local wisdoms, has been passed through generations.
In this video, we are telling you the story about the synergism between food technology and local wisdom to save the local communities from the environmental disaster.
So how are food technology, local wisdom, and environmental issues linked to each other? Following the failed attempt of governmental project to utilize Bornean peatland as a new place for agriculture, Bornean peatland dried out and became susceptible to fire. The worst peatland fire in Indonesia started in 1997. Since then, the nightmare continuously occurred. The prominent ones happened again in 2015, 2019, and 2023. So during the dry seasons in my hometown, I remember I needed to take 3 to 5 days off from schools due to the intense haze in the city. And I remember I needed to wear face masks all the time to go outside. The tap water became salty and undrinkable. During rainy seasons, extreme flooding took place and we were using boats to get around in the city. Continuous natural disaster following the peatland fire encourages the local people's initiatives to restore the surrounding peatlands. One of the ways is by cultivating freshwater fish, such as fish from Chana species or snakehead marl fish. Chana fish is an endemic species in Bornean peatland. For generations, it also holds a significant role as a traditional medicine during postpartum and a protein source of local people. Its cultivation is not only solving the socio-economic problem, but also keeping the traditions alive. Snakehead fish extracts turns out containing a decent percentage of albumin, which is 2.17 gram per 100 milliliter. Fish albumin extract in a liquid form contains fishy odor and unpleasant aftertaste. Hence, a lot of sensory improvement were made. Since 2010s, small and medium enterprises in Indonesia have been starting to produce a concentrated albumin extract from snakehead fish. In contrast from selling raw fish, albumin extract has increased the locals' economy by tenfold. It is also open new income sources and protect the surrounding peatlands by snakehead fish cultivations. The trend of snakehead fish cultivations is increasing in rural and remote villages, where the access of electricity and the availability of modern processing equipment is still limited.
From the technical point of view, producers face the limitations such as long period of extraction time and difficulties to maintain constant pasteurization temperature using a conventional processing equipment. Solving the problem, a group of students from Brawijaya University East Java, Indonesia, developed a customized equipment to extract and pasteurize the albumin extract from the fish. The albumin from snakehead fish was extracted following this procedure. First, wash the fish, remove the fish scales and inner organs, cut the fish into several parts and put them into the steamer. Fish is steamed with the temperature below 70 degrees Celsius. In the first hour of steaming, the condensate contains hemoglobin. This shall be removed from the finished product. Condensate containing albumin is sticky. It is obtained from the second hour to the 10th hour of extraction. The resulting albumin is then pasteurized at 50 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. Prior to albumin extraction, the developed equipment can speed up the hemoglobin extraction during the first hour of production. Hence, it shortens the production time from 10 hours to 6 hours and simplifies the pasteurization process. Furthermore, the machine has a bigger capacity than the conventional one, and also it doesn't rely on electricity but using the gas stove. Considering Indonesian biodiversity in different islands, other locally sourced fish can also be the alternative source of albumin, such as giant snakehead or emperor snakehead fish. Some local startups in Kalimantan, Java, and Sumatra Islands develop a powdered albumin supplement using these locally sourced ingredients. Following the zero waste concept, their finished product is not only the albumin supplement, but also its derivatives such as high protein powder, high protein biscuits, pempek, and sosis solo. The unused parts of the fish were fermented to become fish sauce, and the rest of the bio-waste are utilized as fertilizer. With the disastrous peatland fire in mind, local businesses become more mindful about the environmental sustainability. Driven with a common vision, which is people, profit, and planet, many local businesses are starting to prioritize the local people's welfare by adding the value of locally sourced ingredients. The main goal is protecting the environment from irreversible damage. No more peatland fire, haze, and floods.
Local wisdom has been existing for generations. It is proven to solve people's problems during the time when technology did not even exist. As a core identity of a nation, the local wisdom should be preserved and protected. With the knowledge in food science and technology, we can scale up the impact of the local wisdom to solve the modern problems. Besides albumin from freshwater fish, there are various local wisdom that are still waiting to be explored and improved by food technology. Not only in Indonesia, but also all over the world.
So it's also our job as food scientists to solve the problem in our home. What are you waiting for?
Let's get back to our roots.
Thank you all. I'm sure we all enjoyed the section where we have these future food scientists of Africa coming up to tell us their innovations. The jury have been doing some scoring on the ground, And I'm going to call on Professor Prakash, who happens to be a former president of International Union of Food Science and Technology, to come and tell us how the scores was, the scoring, who happens to be the first, the second, the third, and the fourth among the presenters. So, Prakash, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Badina. It's a great opportunity to hear all the youngsters who are so enthusiastic. And the jury had the most difficult time in their life, I think, because it's not easy to distinguish. But somebody has to call the day. But one thing, let me tell you, all of you are our favorite presenters, no doubt. But the unanimity of the jury is so wonderful that let me go from the bottoms up. You know, the typical Grammy Awards also does that, right? So we will follow the same scheme. We are so impressed with the presentation by Kelly about, the yogurt, which is the traditional one. But certainly, there are other things, other people who did far, differently. So Kelly will get the commendation certificate from the organizers who are AAU and IUFoST, and it's wonderful to get that. Maybe at a later time, Judith will send it to Kelly at a later time. Coming to the first, second, and third prize, we congratulate Kelly, and now we come to the third prize to begin with. I hope we have the third prize. All of us agreed on that. Would be congratulations, Neba. It's great that you are fortifying all of us with iron. And I think the letter F is not for finance in nutrition. The letter F is for iron. You showed that. Thank you very much. We congratulate you. And here we are. And let us give a big clap for Neba. Wonderful. The second prize goes to, difficult to guess. Who is that? That's something that, again, a traditional food combination, and with a lot of thought and engineering, goes to Mr. Anchang. Fantastic, and congratulations, Anchang, and it's wonderful for your presentation. Thank you. Now, you can guess who is the first prize. If at all you eat anywhere cassava, you remember who is that? James. Masangbe Jeffrey James. He has designed the solar, and hopefully this will be a turning point in the farmers' regime in terms of making the food. But a message to all of you is, please look at the food safety. Apart from technology, innovation, that's what IUFoST always emphasizes. I'm sure AAU and IUFoST will look at food safety. My congratulations to all the prize winners. In fact, in a way, all the four of you have really deserved it. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to discuss with the jury and announce this. And I thank IUFoST for giving me this opportunity. And I thank AAU for giving me this opportunity, especially Dr. Olusa, Yawele, and Obadina. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Judith. All the best. Yeah. Back to you, Felicia.
Thank you all very much. It's been a very wonderful session. We would have loved to see the final winner, just in case people are unsure who he is. Can we see you one more time? our winner for the day. But as Prof said, we are all winners. And as I mentioned earlier, we received close to 100 applications. So for you to be selected as part of the top 4 finalists, that already means you have won the competition to be able to make your presentation to us. So we really appreciate you all. At this point, we would like to invite Professor Ubadina to moderate the closing remarks session, if he's on.
Okay, thank you, Felicia.
Okay.
Thank you, the jury that have helped in coming up with the final evaluation, and also to thank all the roundtable speakers and the students. So now at this section, we want to have the closing remarks that we come up from the IUFoST president. After that, the Secretary General of AAU will also give a closing remark. IUFoST president.
Thank you, Professor Ubadina, and distinguished colleagues. As we bring this important event to a close, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for your active participation, for your insights, and for your unwavering commitment to the future of food and food science and technology in Africa. Over the past couple of hours, we have explored, whether it be through the roundtable presentations or through the innovations that were presented to us, the vast potential of food processing as a cornerstone for resilient, inclusive, and sustainable African food systems. We have discussed its role, so the role of food processing in reducing post-harvest losses, in the increase of value addition, in promoting food safety, but also in harnessing the traditional knowledge, the traditional ingredients to develop sustainable food sources for the African population and beyond. Of course, we have been also reminded that behind every innovation, behind every breakthrough and every transformation, there are people, and there are primarily scientists, students, entrepreneurs, processors, educators. And again, kudos to our young scientists and our young leaders whose contributions to this event have been nothing short but inspiring. Again, I would like to recognize the partnership of the Association of African Universities, who has facilitated this powerful platform to strengthen our collaboration with the International Union of Food Science and Technology. And I guess this is really a reaffirmation of our shared vision that Africa is the continent where African-grown, African-processed, and African-proud food systems will certainly flourish for years to go. On behalf of IUFoST, I would like to thank you all for your contributions and your visions. And I'm sure that this is not going to be the end, but the beginning of continued engagement and the development of practical solutions with long-term impacts in support of Africa's food sovereignty and food resilience. Once again, thank you very much for this wonderful event.
Yeah. On my side, let me first of all appreciate Professor Samuel Godfrey and Judith and the whole IUFoST family for this collaboration between IUFoST and AAU. We are highly pleased to be involved in this. I think that we are contributing to the future of Africa. Let me also congratulate the competition winners. Indeed, Dr. Kwagbe has said it very well. She said, every one of us that have participated in this were all winners. I want to assure our young people that there are great opportunities for you in Africa. Keep on moving trying your best and keep on moving forward. We look forward to future collaboration between IUFoST and AAU to advance food science and technology in Africa. I want to congratulate all of us for being part of this and want to especially thank the participants who have stayed throughout this 2 hours program. We appreciate you all. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Could we have a photo together now with everyone, please?
So please, everyone, put on your video, put on your photo.
Your videos. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your camera.
I'm going to take a screenshot now. 3, 2, 1, and smile.
I don't think everyone has their video on yet, Miguel. We may have to wait a minute.
Okay.
Anita, thank you. Alicia, Kelly, if it's possible.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to take another screenshot. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Neba, thank you. Wonderful.
Here you go.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And then we would like to also have one with all our presenters and speakers, and then separately one with our excellent finalists. Thank you. So perhaps we'll start with the finalists, with the 4 of you, Neba and Kelly and Mamukam and Jeffrey. Please put your videos on for a moment. Okay, Jeffrey. Yes. Miguel.
Yes.
Could you? Yes, thank you. When you see the 4 of them, please, would you? I think I have
Thank
them.
you.
I'm asking.
Okay.
Bye.
Excellent.
Thank
Bye.
you.
And
Okay.
that's it. And thank you all.
3, 2, 1, and here it goes. Smile. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you all for a tremendous roundtable.
Thank you again.